This is Nightline, and I'm Adrian Seet. The headlines. Anti-party hopping bill passed in Dewan Rakyat with 2/3 majority. And Indonesia to end freeze on migrant workers to Malaysia. Thanks for joining us. The Dewan Rakyat has passed constitutional amendments to put in place anti-party hopping laws before the next general elections is called. The law was passed after the required 2/3 majority was secured by the government to make the necessary constitutional amendments. A total of 209 members of parliament voted in favour of the anti-party hopping bill. A total of 11 MPs were absent. No lawmaker voted against. Since the bill to amend the federal constitution requires at least a 2/3 majority of the total membership of the lower house, Dewan Rakyat Speaker Tan Sri Ashar Azizan Harun called for a block vote to be held. The 2/3 majority support was received both during the second and third reading of the bill. Minister in Prime Minister's Department for Parliament and Law, Datuk Sri Dr. Wan Junaidi Tuanku Jaafar, explained that an MP who exits a political party and then joins another would cease to be a member of the House.
The party must have in their own constitution to say that if you disobey the party, then you lost your membership. So if that's the case, then he lost his membership as Member of Parliament as well. The party constitution must first be amended. I put in the winding up just now.
On a question about the time frame set for all states to adopt the law, he said the Yang di-Pertuan Agong is empowered to hold engagement sessions with the Malay rulers and Yang di-Pertuan Negeri to persuade all states to enact the same law. The unanimous nod by the Dewan Rakyat, according to the Prime Minister, is a clear sign of mature politics practiced by the MPs. In a statement, Datuk Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob said mature politics practiced by the MPs was based on the spirit of the Malaysian family, which places the interests and well-being of the people above anything else in all project planning and implementation. He congratulated them as they fulfilled their responsibility as entrusted by the people through the parliamentary democracy system. He said the amendment was also important to ensure continued political stability. The passing of the bill with a 2/3 majority has been described as a historical moment for Malaysia. For the people's well-being, party hopping, usually done for personal gain and at the expense of the voters, will soon become a thing of the past. The thumping support for the bill on Thursday showed that the MPs were able to come together for the good of the people and the nation. What more, with the opposition giving an unwavering commitment to supporting the bill.
It is very rare that any bills will get a full support, both from the government and also from the opposition. But in this case, all the 209 parliamentarians present during the voting supported the bill. So I think we should congratulate to all these 209 parliamentarians. And also I think the Parliament Select Committee that formulate this bill has done a good job. So we should congratulate the Parliament Select Committee, but also not to forget the Prime Minister, Datuk Sri Ismail Sabri, in which his coalition in the federal government, there are parties that benefit most from members of Parliament jump ships, but they also supported the bill. So I think it's a credit also to the government headed by the Prime Minister, Datuk Sri Ismail Sabri.
In the past, the democratic practices appeared unhealthy. 39 parliamentarians had switched political allegiances. 3 prime ministers had been appointed. All that since the 2018 general election.
It's a signal to the lawmakers to uphold to their principles in the political parties, irrespective whether you're with the ruling government or with the opposition parties. It is also to uphold the mandate given by the voters in the elections. At the same time, I strongly believe this is also a mechanism to control lawmakers from abusing their positions. This could also restore the confidence and public trust in elections. The political will shown by both blocs the opposition and also the ruling party's lawmaker showed that this is the way forward, to have capable, reputable, credible lawmakers who could show a sense of leadership in future.
The anti-hopping bill is designed to prevent persons who are elected under the ticket of a political party from crossing over to another political party after winning a seat. The bill is considered a new foundation in Malaysian politics for the future.
The bill will not only, no doubt, stabilize our political situation, it will not recur again as post-GE14 when government topple, change of government or change of prime minister, but also the bill is a boost of confidence. It will instill the confidence to the voters. This means that when the voters made their decision at the polling station, the decision will remain. Their representative cannot change party at their whims and fancy, I presume. So I think the bill is good for the country, but most importantly, the bill is good for the voters. Since whatever decision is made by the voters, it will remain intact. It will no more depending on the decision of their representative or the parliamentarians in this case.
Indonesia will lift restrictions on the entry of its workers into Malaysia from August the 1st. Human Resources Minister Datuk Sri M. Saravanan said the two countries had agreed to integrate the existing system between the Malaysian Immigration Department and the Indonesian Embassy in Kuala Lumpur for the recruitment of Indonesian domestic workers, PDI. In a joint statement with his Indonesian counterpart, Ida Fauzia, on Thursday, he said that the integration of this system will act as a single channel for the recruitment and entry of PDI into Malaysia as agreed in the previous Memorandum of Understanding MOU. The minister also said a pilot project would be implemented for a period of 3 months once the system's integration is completed. Datuk Sri Saravanan believes that the resolution of the issues in the MOU will lead to the smooth entry of Indonesian workers into Malaysia in the domestic service sector, as well as other sectors that are allowed to employ foreign workers. In a bid to boost the tourism sector, the Tourism, Arts and Culture Ministry hopes that the Home Ministry will consider granting multiple entry visas to foreign tourists. Tourism, Arts and Culture Minister Datuk Sri Nansri Shukri said discussions between the two ministries had been conducted as visa approvals came under the jurisdiction of the Home Ministry. Speaking to the media after attending the 23rd ASEAN Subcommittee on Culture and 11th ASEAN Plus 3 Cultural Cooperation in Kuching, Sarawak on Thursday, the minister said the move is necessary as the government needs tourists to come and continue returning to Malaysia.
We depend so much on KDN now. We hope that they will pertimbangkan supaya dapat dipermudahkan visa itu bukan hanya untuk India tetapi untuk negara lain juga. Sekiranya berlaku perkara seperti ini, they can come in lagi, tak mau lagi single entry untuk visa mereka. So we will look forward to having more than multiple entries, actually multiple entry visa.
She said so far, the targeted number of tourist arrivals has exceeded 4.5 million, and that figure is expected to increase to over 8 million by the end of this year, with the reopening of the Brunei-Malaysia border from August the 1st. Most visitors are coming from Singapore, followed by Thailand, the Philippines, and India. In an effort to provide more options to its customers, Quantum Metal Sdn Bhd, Quantum Metal, has achieved another milestone in developing its business ecosystem by launching its first gold ATM machine. Its executive chairman, Dato' Lim Kong Soon, said with such a facility, Quantum Metal's customers and members can now redeem their digital gold by withdrawing physical gold kept in their gold storage account, GSA. Located at Quantum Metals headquarters in Georgetown, Pulau Pinang, its gold ATM machine allowed withdrawals in the form of 1 dinar or 4.25 grams and minted gold of 10 grams up to a maximum of 30 kilograms.
We launched the first of its kind gold ATM machine in the world, and today actually the ATM machine is to let people or our customers, members conveniently to withdraw their physical gold from the digital gold quantum metal platform. So of course when talk about digital gold, then we are talking about digital gold with 100% physically backed. So let people can withdraw this physical gold from the size of 10 gram minimum to a kilo to a 30 kilo per transaction.
We will continue to review and develop our gold business ecosystem to meet customers' needs. So whenever there's a area whereby we can further improve, we can further develop, and it will continue.
Meanwhile, Malaysian Islamic Chamber of Commerce President Muhammad Saha Maddin, who was present at the event, has welcomed such an initiative to further improve Sharia-compliant gold transaction services.
Kita sedia maklum bahawa Quantum Metal merupakan satu syarikat yang telah pun mendapat kelulusan patuh syariah dalam urusan urus niaga emas, yang mana sebahagian daripada produk mereka ini memperkenalkan kaedah penyimpanan secara atas talian ataupun secara digital.
Moving forward, Quantum Metal is planning to install 3 more gold ATM machines in Kuala Lumpur, Sarawak and Johor. Malaysia's external trade surpassed the 2 trillion ringgit mark for the first time in 2021, a 24.9% increase year-on-year versus a 3.3% decrease in 2020. According to Chief Statistician Datuk Sri Muhammad Uzair Mahidin, exports rose 26.1% to 1.2 trillion ringgit due to significant performances of both domestic exports and re-exports. Domestic exports hit the 1 trillion mark for the first time, increasing 26.6%, while re-exports went up 24% to 229 billion ringgit. Imports also recorded a growth of 23.3% to hit the highest value of 987 billion ringgit. Meanwhile, the trade balance remained in surplus for the 24th consecutive year since 1998, amounting to 253 billion ringgit, an increase of 38.4%. Coming up, debris from Chinese rocket crashing towards Earth. Stay with us. Front. Debris from a Chinese rocket is set to crash onto Earth sometime in the next few days, with the potential for wreckage to land across a wide swath of the globe. Now, according to experts, the rocket's entire main core stage, which is 30 meters long and weighs 22 tons, has already reached low orbit and is expected to tumble back towards Earth once atmospheric friction drags it downward. It was understood that part of the Long March 5B rocket will make an uncontrolled re-entry around July 31st, and the possible debris field includes much of the US, as well as Africa, Australia, Brazil, India and Southeast Asia. Chinese ministry spokesman Zhao Lijian in a statement said it is an international practice to allow stages of rockets to burn upon re-entering Earth's atmosphere, adding that the type of rocket adopts a special technical design where most components will be ablated and destroyed during re-entry with a very low probability of causing harm to aviation and the ground. The rocket blasted off on Sunday to deliver a laboratory module to the new Chinese space station under construction in orbit, marking the third flight of China's most powerful rocket since its maiden launch in 2020. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un on Wednesday warned that he is ready to use nuclear weapons in potential military conflicts with the United States and South Korea. His latest threats come as Washington and Seoul move to ramp up joint military exercises, which have always infuriated the North, as Pyongyang considers them rehearsals for invasion. In Kim's latest speech to mark the armistice that ended fighting in the Korean War, known as Victory Day in the North, he said that the country's armed forces were thoroughly prepared for any crisis. He has also condemned the new South Korean administration under President Yoon Suk-yeol, saying any attempts to preemptively incapacitate his country would be met with a stern response and annihilation. Washington and Seoul, in the meantime, have repeatedly warned that Pyongyang is preparing to carry out its 7th nuclear test, a move that the US has warned would provoke a swift and forceful response. In India, at least 42 people were killed while nearly 100 others were hospitalized after drinking toxic alcohol, with authorities ordering a crackdown on bootleggers. Now, according to officials, dozens of people became ill earlier this week after drinking methanol, a poisonous form of alcohol sold in several villages across the Gujarat state. It was reported that 31 people had since died in Bothad district and another 11 people died in nearby Ahmedabad. Investigations revealed that the victims had consumed industrial-grade methanol, which caused the deaths, while 97 others had been admitted to hospital for treatment, with 2 in critical condition. Deaths from illegally brewed alcohol are common in India, where illicit liquor is cheap and often spiked with chemicals such as pesticides to increase potency, making it a hugely profitable industry. Four-time Formula One champion Sebastian Vettel on Thursday announced his retirement at the end of the season, saying his goals had changed and he wanted to focus more on family and interests outside the sport. 35-year-old Vettel won his F1 titles in successive years between 2010 and 2013 with the Red Bull team. His last race victory came with Ferrari in 2019. This season, with Aston Martin, has been a modest one so far, with a best finish of 6th place. Vettel has 53 race victories to his name, the third highest total in F1 history, behind Lewis Hamilton, 103, and Michael Schumacher, 91. Vettel became the youngest world champion at 23 in 2010, and later became the third driver to win 4 consecutive championships after F1 greats Juan Miguel Fangio and Michael Schumacher. He made the announcement ahead of this weekend's Hungarian Grand Prix, the 13th round of the season and the last race before the August break. On to tennis. American Frances Tiafoe reached the last 8 of the Atlanta Open by winning against Japanese qualifier Taro Daniel 7-5, 6-4 at the Atlantic Stadion on Wednesday evening. Now Tiafoe is into his first quarter-final at Atlanta, where the world number 29 improves to 16-14 on the season. Daniel, who ranked number 101, had early defeated American Sebastian Corda in the previous round. The number 4 seed will next face American Brandon Nakashima. After this short break, man gets 64 years in jail for kidnap and rape of a 13-year-old girl. Stay tuned. Welcome back. In Terengganu, an unemployed man was charged at the Kemaman Magistrates Court with injuring a teenage boy by setting him on fire last Friday. The accused, 28-year-old Sheikh Hilman Hakim Sheikh Anwar, nodded after the charge was read out to him on Thursday before Magistrate Tengku Aliliana Tuan Kamaruzaman. No plea was recorded as the case is under the jurisdiction of the Sessions Court. Sheikh Hilman was accused of deliberately causing grievous hurt to 15-year-old Muhammad Fikri Adam Abdullah at 3 a.m. in Kampung Perasing Jaya, near Jabur. The charge under Section 326 of the Penal Code carries a jail term of up to 20 years, a fine or whipping upon conviction. Earlier, Muhammad Razman Zalizan and Muhammad Razif Muhammad, both 20, and Muhammad Imran Muhammad, 18, were also charged with committing the same offence at the same time, date and location. However, they pleaded not guilty. It was reported on July 23rd that a 15-year-old boy suffered 40% burns on his neck and back after he was believed to have been set on fire by his friends who accused him of stealing 100 ringgit. In Malacca, a technician who abducted a 13-year-old student in Klang and brought her to Malacca before raping her has been sentenced to a cumulative 64 years jail and 8 strokes of the rotan by the Aikro Sessions Court. Judge Sabri Ismail meted out the sentence on 40-year-old Azali Abu, who pleaded guilty after he was charged in court. The 8 charges were under the Penal Code for rape and the Sexual Offences Against Children Act 2017 for sexual assault against a minor. Azali was charged with raping the girl at a house in Malacca Tengah on June the 16th and the 17th. The court sentenced Azali to 10 years jail and 1 stroke of the rotan for each rape charge, as well as 6 years jail and 1 stroke of the rotan for each sexual assault charge. In Perak, a freelance preacher has been remanded for 5 days for allegedly raping a 14-year-old girl in Ipoh earlier this year. The remand order granted by Magistrate Nur Azrin Liana Muhammad Darus will enable the police to investigate the man who is in his 30s under the Penal Code for rape and the Sexual Offences Against Children Act 2017. Perak Police Chief Datuk Mir Faridala Trash Wahid said another investigation paper had also been opened as State Police received a report on another alleged rape involving the same victim. The preacher is currently being probed over 4 rape cases, 2 in Selangor and 1 each in Kuala Lumpur and Perak. Still in Perak, a 35-year-old contractor was charged at the Ipoh Magistrates Court with distributing 10.35 kilograms of drugs last week. No plea was recorded from the accused, Yip Simon, after the charge was read to him before Magistrate Nur Azrin Liana Muhammad Darus. According to the charge sheet, the accused was charged with distributing methamphetamine at a parking lot at Jalan Raja Musa Mahadi on July 21st. The charge, under the Dangerous Drugs Act 1952, carries the mandatory death penalty upon conviction. The court then set October 11th for mention of the case and submission of the chemistry report. Chinese technology giant Baidu has unveiled its latest model of driverless cars, the Apollo RT6. Now, the car, which comes with a detachable steering wheel and costs $37,000, is set to join the Apollo Go ride-hailing service by 2023. Let's take a look at the new self-driving car as we wrap up Nightline this time around. With that, I'm Adrian Seet. Thank you for your company and stay safe, Malaysia.